What the fuck's up, fuckwads? I'm putting myself at risk by doing this in public. But the Matrix killed my phone while I was talking to you last time. So I'm going to go for part 2. This is how to raise, how to get any woman you want in a way that I feel you deserve. Because I'm not going to give you everything. And there are so many people that I don't like that watch this YouTube that are jealous of me specifically because I have this God-given ability through generations of hard work. It's something you can't emulate. G Fuel. Okay, are we here? So the last thing I said is that you need to understand this longing, addictive personality and culture you've developed that's promoted by police, teachers, that was created by, and just the people in the public, that was created by Freemasons when they came over here and claimed indigenous land after they had failed in the Vatican, failed in the Federal Banking Reserve, failed in Britain. Then they had perfected their craft and moved to America. And now we live in a world where we see beautiful women and we want to shove our meat into them. And there's so many other things about it, right? And they think you're weird. Most police are creeps. They're weird creeps, and then that sense of rejection and loneliness drives them to abuse people like me. Or they solicit sex from people. So the first thing I said is that you need to have a dream version of yourself where you see yourself happy. You need to understand that you're sad and you need to accept that. Once you've accepted that you're allowed to be here in the moment and you don't need anything in your external, then you can start to change the insides and be who you want to be and do what you want to do. Fall in love with what you love. And understand there's no way the world has to go. These expectations were created by people that rape children. These societal norms and the way the culture was developed, the ecosystem was created by an evil occult organization, possibly to evolve our genetics, so that we would have to fight through in this time that's been prophesized for 2,000 years, at least, across the entire world, when the star people would come down. So if you want to get a woman, here's tip number 1, and I'm reluctant to share it with you. Get your pen and paper out. How the fuck do you expect to rock a boat with a bitch if you don't got a boat to rock on? And you can't get rock hard. Are you living a life that another person would want to be a part of? Is your life on your own, without anything else, just sitting here like this, standing here watching this video? Do you feel like your life and your presence is enjoyable enough that somebody else would want to take time, the most precious resource on earth, spending it with you? Are you enjoying your presence with yourself? These police are going out and forcing them to spend time with the police because they're lonely and playing power games to feel worthy. Do you understand that's robbery? And under the same government that believes that it's a spiritual energy factory, that you believe it's a spiritual emotional energy exchange, that's based off the generative principle. Open your Gmail app and then go to Google and type in the generative principle, and you'll find the Freemasons have been sending each other dick messages. They've been sending each other dick pics, and they've been sexting each other long before the internet existed. So these organizations believe that it's a sexual energy exchange. So when a police stops you and they harass you and they try to take your sexual energy to convert it and use it to get bitches because they don't have this innate understanding I'm teaching right now that I created when I was 14 years old, and I used it to be with the most beautiful women in my, whether it was God or not, I feel like they're the most beautiful women I've seen to date, inside and out, so far. And the only ones that I haven't been with, that I felt were of their same caliber, were ran through like a train station. So are you able alone to be happy? How did I learn it? But I went into isolation. I looked up what was the worst form of torture, and I subjected myself to it. Because I was forced to be as a child, and then I perfected it. So now, no matter where I am across the entire world, prison cells, out of prison cells, in horrific environments, I've subjected myself and endured it, so that no matter what, I know how to have a good time. And that's called abundance. And that's more than you deserve to know about. So I want to thank you in the chat. Please like the video so it reaches more people. And if you want to support the channel in your abundance, my Cash App is in my channel description. As I'm working towards bettering this in a way that I feel is artistically perfect for my life and that I will be satisfied with until I'm 60. When I'm 60 and I look back at this, and I tell this story to my great-great-grandchildren. So this is called an abundance mindset. That no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, you understand that you're the driving force in your life and that everything that you want is obtainable. That's a freedom that most people don't have. That's why the police will go and stalk you around town. That's why people will go to your apartment when you start getting bitches and they'll want to kill you. Because they don't understand how big this small world is and that it's your oyster and it's at your fingertips. And that starts with being alone in the present moment and then going from there. Acceptance helps me a lot with these battles with the other people, what we call karmics. Just acceptance, courage to change what I can, and then the rest is going on my t-shirt. So as you're setting up your life, you're building this boat that other people will want to rock on. You feel me? The world is going to, as soon as you make that decision, your peers will hate you. Your parents will hate you. Everyone that you see walking down the street will become your enemy. Because the current matrix is against that and will pressure you and put you down back into your depression where you flip and now you're back into it in this world that they run off social hierarchies and validation and characters and spell work, an old world white culture that is wrong. And they called our ancestors savages because we weren't a part of that. We weren't a part of that. Shimon, you feel me? So that's what, when Bruce Lee says, be like water, be living water. Nipsey Hussle says, I am everything I need to be at any given moment. When you escape into abundance and you become this, your will be different, but what I'm teaching is based completely off my astrology and my life experience, which is immutable, changeable, free, momentous sign. I like that. And a lot of people like that. But whatever you become, when you find out who you are and you grow with it, through being able to accept the present moment and understand that you are the generator of your experience and that you need to be able to live a fulfilling life independent before you should bring anyone else into it. Or else it will become problem solving and working through a lot of things, and it will be maybe good on both ends, but you're going to have a lot of tug of wars for power, and it will be very difficult if you don't have this foundational understanding that you grow from. The next huge thing, if you're still here, is the means to successfully fulfill yourself the most as you go on your way towards making a change in your life and others' lives. In a way where you don't become a giant douche and a horrible fucking person, and you look back and realize you wasted your entire life being a piece of shit. Like, I'd say 99% of the people that I see on a day-to-day basis is growth over consistency. Say it. Growth over consistency. Say it. Growth over consistency. There's a lot of loud noises. Remember, I'm being hunted actively as I'm doing this, and I'm in public. Growth over consistency is saying that you don't need to jump into it. You don't need to rush the process. As long as you have things that you know, practical things that you know will guide you in a good direction or the direction that you want. So you set your mark and you outline your steps. You know, as long as you do this, you will be closer to that goal. Say I want to be a really good guitar player. So I innately understand that if I grab a guitar and I always have my guitar and I play my guitar and I learn how to enjoy playing it, I don't have to push it 12 hours a day if I don't want to. I know at least as long as I start playing it, even if it's for 5 minutes, even if it's 10 push-ups every morning, as long as it's consistent and a set knowing that you're making progress, you'll get there. Even if you have to take 3,000 steps, or you find a bike and it gets you further, as long as you're moving forward, you're going there. So that growth over consistency mindset opens your mind with this freedom of accepting the way everything is, and then generating, instead of focusing on what you can control, shift your energy into what you can create. And then you move forward with this freedom of abundance. And now you have growth over consistency. Then, this is the Casey method. Once you have those systems down, you can go in any direction. And you can go in multiple at once. And you can do multiple things and go multiple places from there. And as long as you're consistently making progress, you're going to get there eventually. You just reorient as you go. And then if you want, you can just stop and do something else. That's going to turn into a self-validating based off progress and achievement. The validation that these cops are looking for in beating up the random guy they think is a hippie junkie in their town, what they were really looking for was the accountability and bravery it takes to lead themselves into a better life. They have an inferiority complex and small dick syndrome based off years of neglecting themselves. And they're calling it culture. If Officer Marco, who violated my rights by harassing me, using intimidation tactics, trying to get me out of the town, going so far as to step above the supervisor of the bank who had given me permission to be there, to call whoever he could to get me trespassed, did so because he wanted to knock someone that was already suffering. I was already struggling cold outside and fighting for a better tomorrow. And he came because he needed to stop me, or else he would recognize something inside himself that needs progress. If he had this growth over consistency, working towards your goals happily, excited for life, he would have asked me what I was doing instead of asking what my name was. Because they want to yank you by the leash and hold something over you and just hold it there for as long as they can. And that they derive power from your suffering. They turn people's pain and suffering into money because they get no bitches. And they've grown to learn through police culture that that's the only way to get bitches, is by racking up your kill count or meeting your quota of trauma you've inflicted on others and calling it serving the public. What have we learned? Accept the things you can't, accept things how they are. Focus on who you are in that moment and that it all comes from you. Know that the world is abundant and that all the opportunities you're looking for are out there. And then adjust accordingly. Learn as you go. Have goals, have a system in place to make consistent progress towards those goals. Make that very easy to do every day. Grow, and if you do it with consistency, you will grow instead of forcing yourself and exerting yourself. Because what I've learned is that it's a lot more fun I did it the opposite way first. I did back and forth. So some days I'm hiding in the woods, or I'm hiding in my apartment, or I'm just more intrinsically focused and I'm working on the inner world, and then I take it out and I ride into battle. Sometimes one year I spent the entire year riding into battle, year and a half, just every day pushing forward with no sense of groundedness and no home to go to. I just picked up every day and went forward, charging. This year I've been stuck, so I have to sit in place, and I learned patience. It took me a year, but I've also learned these skills a decade ago when I was in public housing, and I had to slowly learn that I need to work on what I can because I'm not getting out of public housing until I fix myself. I'm not getting out of the Brattleboro retreat because they're farming me for insurance money. So my behavior doesn't matter. I'm going to be stuck here, so I have to focus on what I can do, which was go to the program director, which was call my mother, which was stand up in the courtroom and address the judge directly. And I was trying to say that, yeah, you've deemed my mom incompetent. We're not going to change that. I tried to convince the judge for months. I would go up there, stand up, and plead my case to let me go, and I will take care of my mother, and I will also get to school. And look, I have a six-pack, and you don't. I'm acing all my classes in school. And they still wouldn't, so I had to get on my 15-minute phone calls, and I had to dial random 802 numbers and leave messages. So I'd leave like 6 messages in 15 minutes. And I'd say, hey, my name's Casey. The Brattleboro retreat gets you $2,000 a night to stay here. I was taken because my parents were deemed not able and my mother gave me up. It has no fault of my own mental illness. I've surpassed that. I have a high IQ. I'm trying to get out and not waste my childhood. The clock is running out for me to live an experience like everybody else. I want a girlfriend. I don't want to have to sneak behind a staff member and grab a girl's butt. I want to take her on a date. And if you know anybody that has a room, and then I would say the specifications for what it needs, I think it's like a 6x10 at least, like bigger than a tent, and it needs to have a twin bed at least and a window, something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I just need that. If you have anybody that has that and can take me in, I can completely raise myself. I just don't want to let the crock run down, and they're farming us for insurance money. And then we eventually got out, and then who they found from my constant advocacy put me to the front of the list. Push, come on. Pushing my DCF worker to care about us. Kind of yanking it. Come on. Talking to different programs all over the place. Spreading like wildfire. Eventually I got out, and I immediately went right into cold approach pickup at 14. That's when you go up to a stranger with the intent of having sex with them. And you make it happen in a way that's consensual. And you don't play it's become almost the complete opposite of what police do. That's how I know there's something really wrong in the police force, is that what I've learned from pickup artistry to make people feel safe and comfortable around you, to have fun. I've also learned, so that's when I talk about the duality. What I learned from pickup artistry was strengthened and enhanced. I wouldn't be able to get where I am if I didn't have the humility of being homeless. If I hadn't gone on this homeless journey and gone through the court system and gone through everything that I've been through, I would never have been able to be where I would never have this understanding of humility. And I'm so happy when I see these young cops that never have gone through this, and these guys that are young, and just the adults are too far gone. They're man babies. They're man babies, and they talk like babies. I was trespassed from a place that I didn't. I was trespassed from a graveyard. I was trying to have a conversation with a sergeant of a police force about what he was doing wrong, and that his father would be ashamed of him. I was bringing up the violations he was breaching, trying to demand my ID, not knowing he didn't know what RAS was. And he said, "Can you just go? Can you just go? Can you just? The gate is here, and then I'm off the property. I'm standing here because he threatened to take my bike if I didn't have proof it was my bike. He threatened to steal it from me, which is intimidation and a violation. And that's all on camera. You don't need to delete the body cam footage. Just leave it be, and let's work through it. I know you tried." It's not going to work. Because some people are destined. You don't have to give your life to a dad and submit to God's authority. They overplayed that to form a patriarchy that you're operating from. So from there, you have to learn to love yourself and get to know yourself. And that core teaching that I'm giving you is a very precious commodity in the eyes of a draconian matrix. Everybody's going to want what you have. It's the sauce. And I'm saying that don't become me. At 2211, don't become me. Because you're robbing yourself of knowing who you are and how special you are. Use me as a way to know that you're free. Find out who you are, and then make yourself the best version of yourself. And you'll find that every single year you're becoming a different person, and that the inside and the outside are actually working together. The wind is coming in to brush my hair, right? The leaves are coming in an acknowledgement right to left. So, something wrapped around the side, maybe it was a dragon or something, said they can't take it from you. But look, they're trying. Do you hear them? Whatever they did, they stopped their entire day to turn around just to rev their engine at me. Because I'm standing here, and they need to let me know I'm not welcome. So you need to know to have fun now. You need to be able to have fun regardless of external circumstances. Don't let external circumstances dictate your internal condition. Be a generative force. And then over time, don't play games to try to assert yourself over the public. That's rape. What if I walked into your house and punched you in the face? That's what asserting your culture over others is. It's founded on raping indigenous people. Before that, it was raping Irish people. Before that, it was raping Celtic people, Gallic people. Before that, it was raping Middle Eastern people. And then before that was somebody that was right here that decided they were the chosen people. In the present moment. And they made up rules that they could exploit. And then they put us in slavery. And if that makes you mad, as you're doing your growth over consistency, and you want to support the revolution, you know, there's no way I can fix people. There's no way I can fix the system. But if you... There's a caravan forming. I probably wouldn't want to hang out with you. But as I'm going, it would make everybody's lives easier to have more hands. Especially when these police try to kill me. To have somebody there holding a camera would go a long way. But either or, time is a limited resource. Being on this earth is a privilege. And you should be able to start enjoying life with what I said here. Growth over consistency, abundance, slow increments, whatever you can do. Perseverance with your present reality. Learning defenses to keep it in. Not trying to control anything, instead trying to create things. And then just saying no to what you don't like and saying yes to what you do like. Then you'll grow into a foundation, you'll grow into a boat that many, many, many people will want to rock. A lot of people want to rock my boat. And I'm a homeless bum that gets money from YouTube and the government. And I just spend all day fighting through an evil system and then coming up with solutions that I offer to people to fix it. And they fix it in their own lives, in systems, in relationships, in institutions. I'm a benevolent parasite. So if I get bitches, anyone can get bitches.